Alright folks, here we go. This time we're going to be doing a review not on juice, but wicking material. Alright, this is ELFWICK. Long ago, in a magical land called the Internets, I found a mysterious village called Vapors.tv. In there, I met a strange person named Elf. Turns out, he makes wick. Now, for some that may sound pretty far-fetched, but anybody who's ever been on Vapors TV and encountered Elf, the guy who does ELFWICK, yeah, no, it's pretty much spot on. Dude is weird as hell, and he's great. I love him. He's funny as hell. He's all about ponies, by the way. And if you order ELFWICK, there's a very distinct possibility you will get a hand-drawn pony. I unfortunately did not when I got my ELFWICK, because I won it from a different vendor, so I got no pony. I want a pony. Alright, to give you a rundown on what it is natural hemp fibers, degummed. No, it is not cannabis. For the love of God, people, there are hemp plants out there that are not cannabis. There's no THC in this. You will not pop positive on a urinalysis test or anything of the like for using a hemp wick. It's completely fine. Alright, inside here is the material. I'll give you an up close on that in a few moments. It comes in a nice Mylar bag. Makes for a little difficult getting it on the camera, but I'll give you an up close on the bag. But excuse me, in the background, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's a watermark of an elf. And it says, ELFWICK is pure degummed hemp fiber processed and packaged by ELFWICK.com. It takes time to create or destroy anything of Mern. So, alright. Told you, dude's weird, and I love him for it. He's funny. Alright. Now, time to move over to the up-close section. Alright, this is what we're going to be putting the ELFWICK in. It's an IGO W4. In there, I have some really small coils made with 30 gauge twisted Kanthal. I believe those are 3/32. So, really small coil. Set that off to the side. Alright, here's the packaging. You can get a better look at that watermark elf now. Here is the material. It's weird, to say the least. It's just very fibrous, because that's what it is. It's natural fibers. It's natural hemp fibers. Now, we've all heard the old adage before that less is more. Well, with this stuff, it really is. You want to use less of this stuff than you would, traditional cotton, because you see how thick those strands are. Well, it wicks up very nicely. If you use too much, you'll choke out your coil. So what you're going to want to do is, pull yourself off a nice little bit like that. I'll move all the rest of this off to the side. Nice little chunk there. Kind of try to straighten the fibers up a little bit. Get them heading out towards the same directions. Kind of split that in half. And what you're left with is a little tuft like this. Just going to give that a nice little pat and roll. And you don't want to twist it up real tight. Just, pat and roll, twist as you go kind of thing. Now this one may actually be a little too thick for my coils, because what you want with this stuff is for it to be kind of loose in your coils. You want it to slide freely, because with the absorption on this, it actually try that again. With the absorption on this, it actually swells once it starts wicking up that material. And see, it just slides through just all nice and even. Just back and forth, back and forth. So that's good. And we'll end up trimming that down. Do the same thing over with this other little wisp. Just kind of twist it and roll. Just try to get it together, but not real dense. It takes a little bit longer to wick with this stuff, but the flavor I find is a lot better than traditional cotton. I really don't get that funny, chalky, texture in the back of my throat. When I'm using this, as opposed to first time through with cotton. There we go. And now we're just going to snip that just a little ways away from the deck. Now, oddly enough, I find that this wicks so incredibly well that I end up going through more juice with this than I do with traditional cotton. Part of it is because it wicks it so well and so quickly, and again, just kind of get it up in there. You want to make sure that you've got room underneath your coil for your airflow. There we go. And again, over on this side. It wicks the juice so incredibly well and efficiently that it just vaporizes more juice per hit, at least in my opinion, than traditional cotton does. So if you're low on juice, you might want to go with your traditional cotton, but if you've got juice aplenty, by all means go with the ELF. It's magical stuff. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and load this up. We're going to use Shocker E-Liquids, the Shocker, on top of ELFWICK's hemp wicking material. Let's see. And you'll see that, the way you want to do it is just like you would with any other wicking material. Kind of paint it on there a little bit and let it absorb in, get some up underneath. One of the things I like about this stuff is it doesn't really fall like cotton does. It keeps its shape, and it wicks up rather quickly compared to organic cotton where the higher VG juices just kind of beat up on it. This sucks it up pretty quick. I kind of get that all up in there. Now, one of the things I've come to love about this is the dry hit. Now, don't get me wrong, nobody actually loves a dry hit, but I love how this works with the dry hit. Number one, yep, there we go. Alright, before we go into the dry hits, we'll go ahead and bring it back up to face cam. There we go. Alright, so what's special about this in the dry hits is it's not an acrid, oh my god, I'm dying dry hit. It's actually kind of got an earthy tone, earthy quality to it. It reminds me a bit of, well, kind of like camping. If you were to happen to have the smoke from a campfire waft into your face, it's something along those lines. It's more of a natural, flavor and texture. I don't know. It's weird. Also, there's no residual, well, there's some, but minuscule amount of residual burn flavor to it. Even if you get like the worst dry hit in the world, it doesn't ruin your vape from that point on. Now we're going to go ahead and get the cap on there. Always remember, folks, line up your airflow holes accordingly with your coils. Can't stress that enough. Now, for you veteran vapors, you already know that, but I cater to, the new vapors mainly, so always remember to line up your airflow holes with your coils. Now let's go ahead and get that on there. I'm going to try this on a device I haven't tried it on yet. I've just recently got my Sigelli 150. That was a vapiversary gift. For those who don't know, your vapiversary is, your year mark from, starting vaping, or in my case, quitting smoking. So, for my 1 year mark, I was given by a family member a Sigelli 150. I have yet to get a chance to run ELFWICK on my Sigelli. So this is going to be a brand new trial for me. Sorry, allergies are getting to me. Alright. Now, my Mutation X clone, I've been running pretty much constantly between 35 and 45. But for this, I'm going to go ahead and knock it down to, say, 25, just to start. Because it doesn't have the airflow that Mutation X has. See, I made one problem there. Now, the flavor is great, but I made one problem. I forgot to prime it. You're supposed to, I forgot to prime it and pre-burn it. You're supposed to go ahead and fire your coils 3 to 4 times after you prime it. So that's 1. That'll be 2. That'll be 3. That'll be 4. What that does is it heats up the wicking material in there and gets you, that juice a little bit faster. And we're going to go ahead and bring that from 25 watts up to 30 watts and see how that goes. There we go. Let's see if you can see that. Of course not. There we go. 30 watts. I love that. I get some of the truest flavor off of this than any other wicking material. As I've mentioned already, I don't have that weird chalky texture in the back of my throat like I would with traditional cotton, just your regular cotton ball, off the first couple of hits. With the ELFWICK, it's pretty much instantaneous flavor and none of that weirdness that you get with some of the other materials. So I like it, but I kind of bounce back and forth between it and the other wicking materials. In part, so I don't actually develop a preference to one over the other, because I may not be able to get one at any given point. And then at the same time, it boils down to the build time with the ELFWICK is a little bit longer because it's a raw material. You gotta kind of straighten it out and twist it up and remember not to use too much. So, yeah. But the bonus is, I've, you know, according to ELF's website, it should last you, between 5 and 7 days. I've gone almost 2 weeks using the same wick, and it still vaped beautifully. So, I'm going to have to say, ELF, I love your wick, man. And from now on, when people ask about wicking material, I will continue to tell them there's more on the market than just cotton. Go find some ELFWICK. Go find some go find some hemp wick. And remember, people, as I keep saying, it's not cannabis hemp. Don't be afraid of it. All right. We will see y'all later. Bye-bye.